Hello YouTubes, it is resin pour day. Are you excited? I'm excited. One quick update before I get started. Do you remember my beach? When I poured the sand over it, it was that colour, which was way too white. So I used some of this golden brown, made a very diluted wash, brushed it over the sand, and now it's a much more realistic colour, I believe. Looks more like a beach rather than this white stuff. So I need to give it all a quick vacuum before I get started with my resin pour. If you missed part one, make sure you click up there, or in the description I'll leave a link, and at the end of the video there'll be a link back to the original video where I created this monstrosity. Let's get started. This is the resin I will be using. I wasn't sure if it was Eportist or Epo Artist. That would make more sense. I did invest in a measuring cup. $5 for a plastic cup because it's got measuring marks on it. But it's a good size, so I will be filling that all the way up to 4 cups because it's quite a big area, but I think I'll still have to do a couple of layers. And I've managed to find some pigment next to the... Well, actually, it wasn't next to the resin. It was way in a completely different place in Michael's. Even when I asked the girl, she says, "Oh, we don't have any of that." I didn't believe her. Searched for it, found it. Not going to be using a lot of that. This is purely to tint the resin just a tiny bit because resin can turn a bit yellow over time, and we don't want that. I have my measuring stick. I have a pair of latex gloves. This stuff gets pretty messy. Some emergency kitchen roll. Think I've got everything I need. Let us pour. So I'm going to start by pouring. We've got A and B, but I'm not sure if it matters which. Doesn't really say. This is a curing agent. Ugh, it doesn't matter. I'm going to pour this in first because it's clear, and I'm going to be adding the tint to this first rather than trying to mix it all at once. So I'm going to take this up to two cups. And I think this will be enough to do the first level, probably about 1/4 inch coverage for the hopefully entire lake area. Okay. We're going to put one drop only of this for now. One drop. Come on, come out. It's coming. One drop, okay. Because apparently this stuff is super concentrated. Let's find out. Seems to favour the outside of the measuring cup. Wow. And that was just one drop. Now obviously when I put in the other part, it's going to dilute that colour a bit. So I'm wondering if I should do one more drop. I do like that colour at the moment because it's just enough, I think. But as I say, when I double that up, it's going to dilute it down. I'm going to do one more drop. It's a gamble. Come on. I can't believe how strong this stuff is. Right, stir that in well. Yeah, that's quite green now. But I'm hoping that I've calculated this just right so that when I put the other half in, it dilutes it down colour wise. Yeah, look how green that is with 2 drips. That's amazing. Okay, so what I have to remember is because this stirring stick is in there, it's going to increase that level. So what I'll do is take this out for now. So that we get our proportions exactly correct. Okay. So now we take our other bottle. So it's actually gone up above the 2 now, and I think that's because there's bubbles in it. So I'm going to take this up the same amount above the 4 to account for those bubbles and expansion. That's a lot of resin. Hope it's not too much. Yeah, I don't think it'll be too much. So we are the same amount above the 4 as we were above the 2. So we should be the correct amount of each. And I have to stir this for 5 to 10 minutes. So I'll see you in 5 to 10 minutes. I think we are thoroughly mixed together. Colour, I think, looks perfect, or at least what I had in my head. Quite a lot of air bubbles in it at the moment, but I do have a little blowtorch to try and eliminate them. I know you can also breathe on it, but it's kind of far away over there in the lake. I don't think I can reach. I don't have any straws, so a blowtorch it will be if required. Okay, I think we're almost ready. Wish me luck. Never done this before, kind of terrifying. I guess I'll start. The deepest area seems to be about there. I'll just pour it gently around. Oh my goodness. When I say gently, I mean just pour it all out really fast. I'm really liking this stuff. Virtually no bubbles already, so I'm hoping they will just all clear up by themselves. Oh yes, oh I like this. So I'm definitely going to need another layer, maybe not as much as that, although it still has to cover all these rocks and halfway up those rocks. So yeah, I might have to do the same again once that's dry. So I don't even think there's any point trying to get it into the edges just now, because I'm going to be putting another layer on anyway. But so far, that looks really nice. Check this out, we even get a mountain reflection, which is pretty cool. Oh yeah. Okay then. I need to clean my $5 measuring cup so I can use it again tomorrow. But while we're waiting, we do have other things we can be doing. Like painting my little jetties. They come that size printed, but I can glue them together like I did there. It's a fairly nice joint. So I need to paint that one, trim that one down, paint it. I've got this little tiny one, which actually might work at the far side over there. So I might not need to print another one. The other thing I need to do is find some plant life that I want to put in the edge of the edge of the lake. Not really what I'm looking for. Not really what that's what I'm looking for. I think I want some of this to simulate kind of driftwood, old bits of tree and stuff. So there should be plenty in there to choose from. Yeah, and that's just going to go at the edge. And it will be like wood, roots, that kind of thing. Maybe do a mixture of that stuff and some of the green stuff as well. Okay, I need to go to the printer, not the printer. I need to go to the computer and try and find some canoes for my lake. Right, it's been a while, and I was on the PC downloading various 3D print files, but I also thought I'm going to look up and see the time between layers for epoxy resin, and I'm glad I did. If you do not want to have to sand the layer after it's cured before you put on the next layer, you kind of have to put the next layer on between 6 and 8 hours after the first layer. So I am around about the 8-hour stage now. It's a sort of the gel stage, if you like, a wee bit tacky, semi-cured. So I'm going to check that and maybe just go for the next layer tonight. Then go to bed, because I think I'm going to have to do 3 layers, which is going to use all my resin. But yeah, I'm going to check that and get the next layer in. Excellent, excellent, getting closer. Oh, and I still don't know whether or not I'm going to be putting in this stuff in the second layer or wait until the third layer. It really depends how high the second layer comes. I think this is going to be in the third layer though. Let's get to the mixing bowl. This is exactly the same process as the first layer you just watched, so let me mix it all together and then I'll bring you back when I'm pouring the next layer, okay? We are ready for our next pour. I will be very interested to see how high this comes up. My guess is that it won't be high enough, but let's find out. Yep, definitely going to need another batch. That's fine. I think I've got enough left in the containers to do one more, which hopefully will be enough because I can't afford to keep buying this stuff. I managed to miss an entire section there, but it seems to be auto leveling. I might just watch that and let it do its thing. Or I could just attack it with a stir stick, but what's the point? It's going to find its own place anyway. And then I'm going to leave it for 5-10 minutes, come back with a little blowtorch, make sure there's no air bubbles. It's getting more and more important the closer we get to the top that there's no air bubbles. That's almost filled in already. But yeah, it's definitely going to need another. I really hope the final pour is going to be enough because I really want to get it up halfway up here. Yeah, hopefully that's enough. Fingers crossed. There's something oddly satisfying about watching that fluid move into little spaces like that. It's really nice. Okay, what was I going to do? paint some jetties, print off a canoe or two. Okay then, hopefully the final pour. And of course I've got some trains watching me as I do this. Oh, I still don't know if this is going to be enough, but we'll give it a shot. I do have a little, tiny bit left, but I don't think I'm going to have enough to get all the way up above these stones. Let's give it a shot. Oh, we're getting there. Just don't think there's enough though. So close. Might be enough. Let it settle for a bit, and I might just mix up the final little bit I've got. Actually, I should do that right now. Right, hopefully I've not completely wrecked it with the proportions, because it wasn't quite 50-50. I can't even remember if it was more hardener or more base. Oh, it's really bubbly. I wonder if I should wait just a wee bit longer. Nah, I can always use a blowtorch, right? Tell you what, I'll put a little bit away up the back and see how terrible it looks. Oh, it's fine. Right, where does it need it most? I mean, it should level out anyway, but I really wanted it over these rocks here. I'll put a wee bit more here. Where else? Quite like a wee bit more over there. A bit more on the beach. I'm just going to go all the way up here. I'm just going to cover this bit. A bit more around here. Final bit up the back. Okay, and if that's still not enough, then we'll need to wait till it's dry. Oh no, you know what, that's going to be enough. Right, I'm going to stop this, clean this measuring jug cup, and then wait for a little bit for the bubbles to rise, get the blowtorch out, give it a final whoosh over with some heat, rid of all the bubbles, and then we're going to start putting in things like that, which I think is pretty cool. See you in a bit. Yeah, I'm fairly happy with the level. Yep, that's okay. Right, this is the stuff I'm going to be putting around the edge to simulate old fallen trees and dried out and stuff like that. I'll break it into little bits, plonk it around the place, see how it looks. And further up, I will be adding some greenery on this exposed section, but not until all the water is dry. Well, I'll tell you what, before I do that, you get the blowtorch out. Give it a bit of a hot. I was going to say something rude there, but I'm going to blow it with the. You'll see what I mean. Right, try not to set my whole layout on fire. Ah, that's working nice to get rid of the bubbles. You probably can't see that. You need to trust me. Don't tell my wife I was doing this. She'll probably freak out thinking I was just trying to set the resin on fire. If you do this too hot, too close, you can burn the surface of your resin, so be careful. Oh, that is working a treat. Just got to stay clear of my styrene because I'm not sure if this styrene is fireproof. I mean, it is designed for home insulation, so you would expect it to be, but that's no guarantee, is it? That is looking like glass, except for that wee bit over there at the beach. Oh yes, lovely. Right, now I can stick things in the sides. So remember folks, the key to this whole thing is to be as random as possible. So don't put them all in stripes. Here's a nice bit there. Don't want it too big, that would be silly. So let's stick this half in the water round about there. Just push it in, let the water drag it down just a wee smidge. And I will continue putting bits like that all the way around. Probably stick a bit on there, on the semi-exposed bit of the bottom. I'll get tweezers, I don't want to get this on my hands. Right, I'll see you when all that's done. Right, I'm having second thoughts about this stuff because although it looks nice and grey there, when you put it into the water, it's kind of turning green. And that's really not the effect I was looking for. So I think I am going to take them out before I make a mistake I can't live with. And we'll maybe just wait till it's completely dry and we'll work out something else, because I think that's kind of spoiling it, to be honest. Don't know why it's turning quite so green. I mean, I put a tiny bit of tint in the water, but only that much. You can see it in the sand. Nah, I'm going to remove them. Smelly green moss has now been removed, so we're just going to wait for that to dry completely. Meanwhile, let's go find some canoes. Well, I found a file of a canoe that I like. However, we do have a slight problem. Isn't it nice? Exactly what I want. However, if I look at the underside, that blue section there, that's the only section that is touching the print bed. Everything in red would be overhanging, so it would require supports. Also, I don't really want the canoe sitting like that, as if it's on top of the ground. And because the water is going to be solid, the only option I've got is to select this image, go to the underside, grab that blue line and drag it down and get rid of all that red. Now the downside to that is, although it's sitting at a nice level there, in the water so to speak, if you look at the inside of the boat, there's a big grey section there that is not going to get printed. So all I really have to do then is add a bit of styrene or something just to fill that, if we even have to, but that is a much nicer level it's sitting at there. So I think I will duplicate that 2-3 times maybe, so that I've got a nice little selection of canoes to go around the lake. So let me transfer this over onto a thumb drive because I need to take it over to the printer, plug it in there, get the printer going. Meanwhile, we can be painting our little jetties. Now these little jetties are really nice prints with good detail, so I don't want to ruin all that detail. I'm going to use some watered down burnt umber and see how that looks. And then once that's dry, I will go round. It's actually got little ropes. Can you see the little ropes? I'll go around the little ropes with some of that golden brown that I used for the sand. I think that could work well for the ropes. But this is really just to get into the grain of the wood, give it some depth and all that. It will take a wee bit longer to dry though because it's watered down. Shouldn't take too long though. Will that be dark enough? One wonders. Not absolutely convinced. Won't know till it's dry. So I guess I'll bring you back when I've finished painting and let this dry for a bit. See where we're at. Okay. Okay. Right, I added a bit more brown paint to the mix because it just wasn't really dark enough, and I think that's turned out rather nice. And I did the little one as well. I think that's all I need. I don't need jetties all around the lake. The lake isn't that big. So let's grab a little bit of light brown paint. I think the golden brown might be a wee bit dark, to be honest, but we'll give it a shot just to highlight these little ropes here and see how that turns out, okay? Oh, paint's maybe a bit thick. Oh, no, I think it'll be okay. This could be a little bit tricky. Yeah, I think next time I need to just put a little bit less paint on the brush. Yeah, that's better. It's almost like we're just dry brushing them, but not quite dry brushing them. So maybe grab some paint off the first bit. Yeah, that's better. Oh yeah, that's actually quite nice. Right, let me get the rest done. See you in a bit. Let me go grab my canoes off the printer, see how they turned out. So they turned out quite nice actually. As you can see, that's the height I was going for. And that's a big hole I was telling you about. But once they're sitting flat, in that sort of distance, you probably won't see. But if we do, we can always add something on the inside. Right, my plan is to do one of these with the dark brown paint, burnt umber, and one with a deep red. And we'll see which one we prefer. They're really quick and easy to print these out, so I can always make more if I ruin them. Right, so just need a wee squidge of the brown. And a wee squidge of the red. Plenty. Right, let's go with the brown one first. I'm not diluting this paint down at all this time. Oh, I tell you what, I'm going to need something to hold it with. Otherwise, I'm going to have gigantic fingerprints in them. Hold on a sec. Pair of pliers. That should do the job. Right, where was I? Oh yeah, brown paint. Probably need to do a couple of coats. Although this resin is actually really quite nice. If I can do it in one stroke, then you won't see any paint lines. It's not actually a bad colour like that. I wonder what it'll dry like. The bridge dried dark. Ooh. Oh, I was so close. As I was saying, the jetty dried darker than I expected, so these might dry a little bit darker than they look at the moment. And I do have a very bright light on them right now. Oh goodness, no, that's definitely going to need another coat. Let me try and get the inside done. It's going to be near impossible. Not bad. Cool. Flip it over, try not to drop it this time. Careful, careful, keep the tension. Oh, just need a wee dab of paint in there. Cool, right, I'm happy with that. We'll see what that's like when it dries. Not sure about the colour. Right, let's try some red. Make sure my pliers don't have brown paint on them. Sorry, painting tongs. Right, red. I do see a lot of red canoes out in the lakes in Canada, so that's why I'm going with this red. It looks very light, but again, we do have a very bright light on the subject. This is actually a deep red that I'm using. Again, might need a couple of coats. No biggie, not exactly a lot of paint. Okay, try and get the inside done, carefully as possible. Almost there. Well, almost there with the first coat. Pretty sure I'm going to have to do a couple of coats. Resin's kind of porous, it does like to suck up paint. Cool. Right, let me put that somewhere to dry. And we will probably do another coat or two. So it's actually been 48 hours since I poured my lake. You probably want to see it, right? Yeah, okay. Well, I have to say, for my first ever pour of epoxy resin water effect, more than delighted. Maybe it's just luck, maybe it's the type of resin I used, but I absolutely love it. Love the effect. Now, you probably can tell it has either sunk or contracted a little bit, but that actually turned out in my favour. If I take you around to the beach, now you can see the slight green tint in the water, which is what I was going for, but you can see how much it shrunk back. But that has actually given us a nice effect of having some wet sand around the edge, which is more natural than just a wall of water, right? And I do love how the rocks look under the water there. Overall, I think that looks spectacular, and we're not even finished yet. We still have to get the green stuff around the edges there and do something with the island. Still not decided. We've got a path to make around there, trees, grass, oh, loads of stuff. But overall, come on people, that looks great even for me. Look at the mountain. Oh, brilliant. So that concludes the lake pouring segment of this project. Still got a lot more to do. I've got all that stuff to do under the half cut section so that we can put that in place, but also have to do the points. Lots to do, so I'll conclude this video with maybe just dotting some bits and pieces around the lake to give you a better idea of how it's going to look at the end. Thanks for watching. I think that went well. I'll see you very soon for part 3.